Yo, yo, yo! Welcome everybody to another episode of the Culture Podcast featuring my good friend Uncle Marnus. How you doing, Uncle
Good
Marnus?
in your own?
I'm good. Did I say Marcus? No, I said Marnus, didn't I?
You probably said either.
If I messed up your name, would that be racist?
Probably not.
Because apparently that is a sign of, it's an indication of racism.
Really?
Messing up someone's name.
Really? Racism?
Yeah.
For real?
You never heard that?
No.
Really? Why does it
Making
seem
someone's name up.
Yeah, like I mean,
Why would that? Yeah. Oh, I
like
guess.
Lebogang, calling a
Lebo
Lebo
gang.
hang.
Lebo gang.
Yeah.
I do that on purpose. Hello, Lebo.
So what does that make you?
Fun guy. I'll say it wrong. I'll definitely say it wrong, and then I'll say it exactly as it should be. And then, you were just messing
Just
with
to show that you actually know the right from wrong. Okay, so Big M, it's great to have you here once again. You know, I don't know if you saw the comments on our last
I did
episode.
see some, yeah. Some people enjoyed.
A lot of people were like, bring Uncle Marnus back. You know, I think that's even where the name came from, if I'm not mistaken.
Somebody said
one
something
of the
like
comments.
that. Yeah, I remember.
So, you know, the last time we spoke, it was earlier in the year. It's still early in the year. I think
Still in the year, can still do stuff.
that was our first podcast of the year and our first podcast together. It's been a few weeks since then, and we're back, and we've been talking about things we want to talk about, that we want to raise awareness on, about, you know, to young people, men, women, boys, girls, you know. So obviously for me, just to get the ball rolling, you know, I had to personalize this conversation, you know, and take the opportunity to learn from an older, more experienced person than me, you know. And my hope is that the people watching, listening will also get the opportunity to learn and not have to go through some of the experiences that either of us have gone through, you know.
That's unnecessary.
Yeah, we're giving them some shortcuts.
Yeah.
No one
Absolutely.
gave us got a few shortcuts.
I did get some, but you can always. There's always room for improvement and to better. So why not?
That's actually where I want to start, right? You know, our off-air conversations. I love, like, not talking about the culture stuff, just life. You know, I love that because it's gonna sound a little too heavy for the intro, but I'll tell you the truth, right? For me, my dad passed away in 2001.
Sure.
Right, so that's been how many years?
24.
24 years, yeah, 24 years, yeah. And it's more than over half my life without my dad. And one thing I found that I struggle with is like who to talk to and how to talk about what I'm going through, you know. And it's not to say that my mom hasn't been there. It's just, you know, there's a limit to what she can contribute. You know, in my life, in my career, in my first job, the CEO of the company, what's his name? Andre Boyens, that was his name. He took me under his wing, and I picked up a few things from him, you know. And that's when I realized that maybe in my life I'm not the type of person who's going to have, because I don't have, you know, my dad present. Maybe I'm the type of person who's supposed to meet other men who are doing things that I admire and just pick some of the traits and knowledge that they have to share and apply it in my own life. So Andre Boyens was a CEO of a business, and yeah, he wasn't really my mentor. He wasn't actively trying to be my mentor. It's just me who took the opportunity to learn from him, right? But I feel like with you, I got a chance to engage with you and get your feedback on some of these things. Like, firstly, are they normal? You know, is it normal for a young man to be discouraged?
Absolutely.
And how does how does a young man deal with that? Because yes, it's no, I can understand that it's normal, but how do you deal with it if it's normal and not allow yourself to be discouraged to the extent of paralysis and not non-action on whatever it is that you're trying to do, you know? So I do have a few topics that I want to engage you on, and I think the first one is, and I think this ties in to you and I, because we're both Pisces. It's our star sign. How does a dreamer become a doer? I have a vision. I want to achieve something, but for the most part you find that people complain about their circumstance.
Yes, more than anything else, but that's
instead of acknowledging it.
Yes.
So how you know, I don't even know if the question makes sense in how
sense.
broad it is.
Yeah, it's very broad, but let's start from the top. I think first and foremost, nothing can be done without a dream. It normally starts like that. Nobody starts with a plan. Step one would be getting this vision, getting this inspiration, a dream from somewhere to do something or to start something or to be something. That normally comes by dreams that you have or inspiration that you see or find from someone. But the biggest problem is making those dreams, turning them into plans and turning the plans into actions into reality. So I've learned, because for the better part of my younger life, I had massive dreams and things, but I did nothing about them. I just thought that the dream is enough, the rest will just happen. It's like people with extraordinary talent, whether it's sport, music, academics, they don't tend to work as hard as the people who do, but a lot of the times the people with the most talent are not successful grown-ups because they don't put the time and effort in, because they assume talent is enough. So people assume that dreams are enough. So it's complex, but it's not complex. If you have dreams, put them on paper and try and plan them as much as you can. Don't just talk about them. Don't talk about them to anyone. You get people who are your cheerleaders, and then you get people who are dream stealers. You get people who discourage you sometimes. I look back at my life with some of the stuff I wanted to do, and unfortunately I shared those dreams and visions with people, and people discouraged me, saying, that will never work. There's too much of this or competition or of that or whatever the case might have been. And I look back at them now and I go, damn, I should not have listened to those individuals. They were maybe just jealous, or they were maybe just pessimists, or they were maybe just dream stealers.
So what made you listen then? What is it about that? You know,
when you are younger or young, some people still do. They you know, you at a someplace chilling with some of your friends, you just blabber out. So I've got this, and listen to this idea or this idea that I have. You should really keep to yourself. I've learned this the hard way. Don't tell everybody your plans. I think we had this convo of the other parts. Don't share that with anyone. And then if you do, find the right people to share it with that can encourage you and give you the tools to put these dreams over into plans, actions. And so yes, discouragement. Where does discouragement? You have a dream. Now you start planning. You're in a planning phase. You do research. You speak to people. Now you have you are like 50% there. Now you need to take these plans, put them into action. Dreaming, planning, that's the fun part. It's the doing that's where it becomes, you know.
So you can't be a doer if you don't have a plan.
You can, but then most of the time the things don't work out as it should, because You didn't plan as well as you should have. I'm not the best planner in the world. I'll admit to that. I do plan, but I'm not the best planner. I take things on the fly most days. But some things you have to plan ahead, and you have to stick to those plans. Otherwise, they will never work. So it's this is where experience and mentorship is so important, because if you're gonna try and do something that you've never done before, what do you expect will happen? You will go into difficulties. There's pitfalls. There's negativity. You need people to then encourage you and say, hang on, this is not the end. It looks like it's the end. It's not the end. Let's look at it from this angle. Let's look at it from that. If something is really truly a brilliant idea, to get it from idea to action to a feasible project or a business of sorts, there's a lot of time that goes in between that. The idea, people sometimes say, yeah, but I had that idea. I said they must open this business there, or do this, or create such an app. That's nothing, man. You're not impressing me by saying, oh, but I had an idea of this app so many years ago. Why did you not do anything about it? But discouragement is a problem. But you need mentors around you to say, listen, just focus. Let's reset this. Let's look at it from another perspective. And unfortunately, that's where the problem lies, because not everybody wants to listen to youngsters just saying, I have this plan, how can I approach this? But there's fundamentals and basics that applies in any business, any idea, any plan, any dream, that I think we should put into an action plan of sorts and say, listen, you can do whatever you want, but just check these boxes and go, this is the idea, this is the plan. Is it legal? Is it illegal? What is the pitfalls? What is this? And weigh them up and go, yes, it's still yes, after I've checked these and these and these things. There's some people who just, I don't care if it's not feasible or not legal or this or that, I'm going to push through. And that's where the problem lies sometimes. People are hard-headed, man. They just feel that somehow they find a way. You will not find a way. You'll just waste time and waste energy and money.
If you don't have a plan.
If you don't have a plan. You know, I got the advice from someone. They said, you want to do something, write down 10 of the things you need to do to make this thing happen. And every single day, spend time on one of those 10 things and see how they start disappearing from the list. You're going to start scratching them off. I tick this, I spoke to this person, yes, and you will start seeing results. But if you just speak about these things and then I spend half an hour a week on it, what do you think is going to happen? It'll never work. It cannot work. So you write them, put them on paper, because without something on paper, it does not exist. It's like business. It's like a lesson I've learned. If business is not on paper and we don't have an agreement or contract or something, and we shake hands and we are good friends, sorry to say, there's nothing.
Yeah, okay. So like with discouragement, right? There's external and internal, right? So I think we spoke about external right now. When we talk about internal discouragement, we're talking about maybe an individual's lack of confidence in self, right?
Sure.
But what I've come to understand is that I'm never going to become confident if I don't do. But for me to start doing, I need to be confident. You know, so it becomes a catch-22. You know, so like
that's a personality. You know, people are scared to try things. You know? That's where entrepreneurship or entrepreneurs built different to people who's just professionally qualified. I'm saying I mean professionally qualified, or someone who's autistic, or someone. Entrepreneurs are built different. They are not scared to fail. They are not necessarily scared to be discouraged, because people can get discouraged. But one thing entrepreneurs have is something called, I'm going to say, make up a term, something like incredibly hard-headedness criticism. They
Can
don't
call it
take
resilience.
resilience, but not even
deeper than
resilience is
that.
not even the strong enough word. It's an unbelievable self-belief in making something work, even if it's doomed not to work, and then to maybe go from there, and the thing that was failing in the beginning, taking that idea, changing it, and doing something else. There's hundreds, thousands of entrepreneurs out there will tell you the same thing. I tried this and this and this and this and this didn't work and this didn't work. Rest assured that one of your ideas and one of your things will eventually work. You know, everybody knows the KFC story. People know about the Edison light bulb story. People hopefully have heard of Henry Ford's story, how old he was when he started the motor corporation. How many times people have tried and failed. I mean, you look at KFC now and you can't imagine this old man going to so many people wanting money, not seeing this massive franchise, what it is. So it just shows that this is how this world works. Nobody just walks into, I've got this idea. Oh yes, yeah, that does happen. But 1 in a million, 1 in 2 million. Think of something and you just hear the success. You don't hear of WhatsApp's struggle when they just started with a WhatsApp platform. You just say, oh, they are so lucky they sold WhatsApp, or Zuckerberg when they started Facebook. You can imagine the problems and issues they faced when they started. It took them years to get Facebook to where it is. So same with Tesla, same with all the rest, but they also felt discouraged at some point. I'm 100% sure. You take the top 10 companies right now, worldwide, and you go speak to the founders and go, Bill Gates, what did you and your partner, what happened to you, what did happen? I mean, I saw a thing of Jeff Bezos the other day of him using a door as his desk, and he said he just used it because it was cheap and it was big, and that was like in 1999. That's just the other day. Look at him today. It's so I think it's a decision you need to make.
So you
can get discouraged, but I know I'm going to get discouraged. I know I'm going to fail here and there, but I decide that to not have these things get into my mind. I'm going to get up and I'm try something else. That's how best I handle discouragement. If I sit on a heap and I feel sorry for myself, nothing's going to happen. Nobody's going to do the work for me. Nobody's going to come running saving. Oh, come, I'll fix this problem. I have to know that there's risks. These risks are failures. These risks are inevitable. They a package deal. You need to decide. Am I ready to get rejected? Am I ready to get to fail here and there? But just know those failures, that rejection, the depression you might have at times, the discouragement you might have, is part of the journey you are in to be successful. And that's just part of the plan, man. It's like weird even hearing what I'm saying, but it should be part of your journey, not I failed now. If you get discouraged, you should go, wow, cool, I'm discouraged now. I'm where I am now in my journey. Okay, cool, I'm discouraged now. I feel like I don't want to, but this just means I'm heading into the right direction.
Yeah, I think you have to be able to look at it positively.
You have to. There's no other way.
You have to have. So would you say that it's rare to find an entrepreneur with a negative self-outlook? Because those sound like things that I have to, if I'm going to dig deep, I must, at the depth of me, must be something positive that I can pull out from.
100%.
So does that tie into one's beliefs, one's spirituality?
It does. I think there's definite ties to that. I think, but for the most part, I think it is more of a decision you make daily, a constant decision you make to not give up. You know, my primary school is right down the road, Pretoria West Large School. And what do they call it? The thing under your, in English?
Motto.
The motto of the school is "Anno wen." It means keep going until you win. If I loosely translated from Afrikaans, keep going until you win.
Wow.
Keep on until you win. Never stop. And I mean, that was my school motto in primary school. To this day, on a weekly basis of things I struggle with, I just remind myself, keep going,
win.
you'll win. If you don't win at this, you're going to win at something else. If this doesn't work out, you're going to take what you took from this experience or this failure or this discouragement, and you're going to put it towards. Because remember something, your balance sheet of life is experience, and the more experience they get, the more worth the balance sheet in terms of experience goes up. So no matter what, no matter how, you are worth more on your own personal balance sheet because you went through the discouragement and the failure and the this and the that. And the balance sheet is nothing else than let's say experience or savvy or whatever you want to call it. So there's no ways that it can be taken away. No way.
It's true. So I want to ask you. Excuse me. I want to ask you, like, in your journey, right? Because you're still here, so you're still on a journey. What has been your biggest discouragement, and how did you bounce back? Did you bounce back? What principles can you give us based on your experience?
It's rare to it's strange to say this, but I've been discouraged before, even with this place when we had issues with our liquor license, but I never gave up. I handled the discouragement. I could say I had discouragement. The last discouragement I really truly had that was really bad was maybe at school level, at a sports team level, but that's small. That's nothing. I really get discouraged.
You rarely get.
Yeah, I really
hey, wow.
really, discouragement is like giving up. I'm terrible in giving
You're
up.
hardwired.
I have a hard head. I don't give up. You can ask my wife. Sometimes I speak too much. I overthink and I want to fix things. Sometimes I just need to keep quiet. To me, that's not giving up. That's just accepting.
Yeah.
and then. But that's me. I don't give up.
So okay, I understand that. I don't know if it's a star sign thing or if it's a personality thing, right? But I feel like I do understand that. So for me, in my meditations, I came to the conclusion that sometimes I tend to, you know how they say, don't chase, attract. What do you think about something like that? I don't know if it's a cliche. I don't know.
I hear what you're saying. It's don't chase, attract. I think you need to chase and you need to attract. You can't be either. You need to be both.
Okay.
Because it's like it's cool to attract, and you physically don't exert any exercise or effort. It's nice.
That's magical.
It's mystical. It's magical. But sometimes you do need to work hard. That's the chasing part. So I don't think either one is more important. I think there's a time and space and place for either.
So now, I'm glad. That's a very good answer because it's honest. I like that. So now, in my journaling, I came to the same conclusion that, you know what, man, I struggle with giving up. I struggle with giving up.
Right. And some people are saying you should give up sometimes.
Yeah.
And I believe in that too.
Yes.
You should take stock sometimes and go, it's been 10 years now. I've given it so much. I last 10 years I was involved in a massive transaction regarding a coal mine, and I pursued this thing for 2-3 years, and I've spent money doing this thing and that and the next, and at some point I realized I'm just gonna break myself trying to get this thing through. And I stepped back. I said, I'm cutting this thing off. I'm not gonna. It consumes one's mind because this is all you think of. This is all you do. Is that giving up? Probably giving up. But to me, it was more conscious decision of saying,
let me cut my losses.
I've had enough now. I'm stopping now. It's not working. And I think sometimes you need that too. It's otherwise it becomes like gambling.
So let me ask, right? In this scenario of this mine, in your heart, you probably knew, let's say 60%, that, oh man, I don't know if this is the one.
For the longest time, I believed it was the one, because there was very big numbers attached to this whole transaction, and for the longest time it looked good. Things changed again. It went up, it went down, it went from yes to no to yes to no again. And at some point it was just no, and the things just started closing, and you can try as much as you want. You can't get this thing through.
It's not working.
You need to accept it then. But if I look back at that, I accepted that. I didn't feel discouraged like that. I went, okay, I'm done with this thing. I tried. I learned plenty. Next.
Yeah.
I lost money, but it was okay. I used to do amateur wrestling. I did tell you, right?
No, you didn't.
I had provincial colors in the whole show. But
wow,
anyway,
that's crazy.
The one guy, the one time this I can't remember his name now. Left such an impression on me. He said to us young wrestlers, I started when I was really young. I think he gave us this speech. I must have been 7, 8, 9 years old, and he stood there and he said something that day. He said, he said, I've never lost one single match on a wrestling mat in my life. That's what he said. And we were like, wow, this guy needed to be really good. He said, I walked away a winner every single time. We went, what the hell, this guy?
Who is this
Was
guy?
he this world champ? Who is this guy? He said, but I did lose a match here and there. And he was like, and then he broke it down and he said he learned something every time. He learned something, where he went wrong, what he did, what mistakes he made. Was his preparation not well enough, or this or that? And he said, you walk away, you lost this match, but you won experience. You won experience with that specific opponent. You won experience on the day, or how do you handle this or that. You always win in experience.
And we underrate the value of experience.
We underrate that, and at some point you make decisions based on experience, and you go through bad patches and disappointments, but those disappointments add up, and one day you're about to do a deal or about to make a business decision or a relationship decision, whatever the case might be, that experience comes back and goes, whoa, just wait. And that saves you a hell of a lot of pain, heartache, maybe money, because of the experience. So what is that experience then? Or what is that discouragement then? Is that positive? It can only be described as positive then, because it helped you then.
Yeah.
And sometimes the mistakes you make when you are young and when business is not as big as you want it yet, the mistakes you make then feels like your whole world. But imagine you didn't make them as young as you did, and everything was just cool and dandy and awesome, and then you grow this empire, and then the same thing happens 10 years later with millions in the bank, and you make that mistake then you lose everything, as opposed to 20k when you were younger. So how much is that worth then?
So what you're saying is that discouragement now taken positively will save me
100,000%
in the future.
Because
so I shouldn't be discouraged by the fact that I feel discouraged.
No, you should only feel. You can deal with your emotions, and that's good, but put it down to experience, because I tell you, as soon as I'm sitting here, one day you're gonna go, that day's discouragement, that mistake that happened, or the plan that didn't work, it helped me today, because I'm not making the same mistake today. It's gonna help me build this business, build this dream, build this career, pursue, because I learned from there. It's nothing else but learning. Discouragement, failure is nothing to be ashamed of. People they only write the success stories. I know you like biographies and autobiographies. I like them too, because right there is where you read the real shit.
The truth.
What happened? You read Branson's book. You read what happened. What went wrong.
Steve Jobs' book
You
changed my life.
Exactly. You read that and you go, this happened to you. I never knew. I read his book and I went, I never knew this happened to you. Recently, I never really understood him leaving and coming back, and I never knew. Well, what do you think he felt like when he left the baby he created?
When he was kicked out.
Yes, of the business he invented, created. So no, we're sticking to one subject, I see, but discouragement is nothing to. It's something to handle.
Yeah.
It's not something to be discouraged about.
You know why I wanted to make discouragement the cornerstone of this conversation, because I feel like that is one. It's like you versus you.
100%.
You know? And if you can't even if an individual can't even challenge themselves, then of course the world is going to be challenging to them.
Yeah.
Right? And anything you venture into is going to be more of a drag because you just don't know how to handle that feeling.
Yeah.
So now this conversation is mostly about in the context of business and life, but now we take this sentiment of discouragement as the foundation and we talk about entrepreneurial insecurity. You know, I feel like I coined that term, although I know I didn't, but it hit me. You know, it hit me. I was like, man, what I am experiencing is entrepreneurial insecurity. It's like I don't know if my business is going to work, and that discourages me. But of course I have to know that my business, I have to have faith in my business, right? So this is my question: is there ever a point in a business owner's journey where they're entrepreneurially secure, or is that thing of where is this going? What am I doing? Am I doing the right thing? Is that just part and parcel of being a business owner?
I don't think. Okay, I think there's definite areas where you can say it is stable. The business is stable. It is secure in the sense of in terms of monetary terms, it's safe. There's no debt. It's got positive cash flow. All of that, yada yada. It's got good assets. Fine, but will it continue the growth? That's not determined by being secure or being a good business or having big assets, because assets also depreciate, and assets also, so you can have money in the bank, you can have equity in properties, but it can also change. I mean, we can have COVID again. We can have a crash on our stock markets. We can have a crash in the property market. I mean, nothing is secure in that sense. I don't think one should ever stop growing your business. You should never sit back and go, we're turning 100 million a year.
We're good.
I'm making good money. Look at me. I'm a fat cat. Yes, and there's people who live like that and go, I have what I want. I have the cars. I have the airplanes. I have the farms. I have the houses. But if that person stops doing what he's doing, it will start shrinking, because the business can't look after itself unless of course it's a listed company and there's another board of directors looking after the affairs, but we are talking on entrepreneurial level. We're not on that level. So on entrepreneurial level, you have to look after your business until it is stable. I like the word stable more than secure. Secure is, man, nothing is secure.
It's a fallacy.
Look at what the stock markets can do in one day. Look at what the richest people can lose in one day. I mean, it's all theoretical wealth. You can't base someone's wealth on what his shares are. I mean, that's ridiculous.
With all your experience and everything that you've done, do you still have doubts about what you're doing?
No, I cannot. If I have doubts about what I'm doing, what am I doing? If I have doubts in the sense of what I am busy with, I am going to fail 100%. I need to back myself and back my decisions and back what I do. It's like what we did here when we changed things here. We said, this is what we're going to do, this is going to work, and we did it. But it's working. If you start doubting yourself, if there's self-doubt,
You have too much time on your hands.
you are stressing over something. I know someone specifically who he said to me the one day, he's also in business, he does quite well, and he says now he needs to stress every day and be worried about something every day. Otherwise, and I don't believe that, but what he meant was he needs to do something and look after something, like this is wrong, I can fix something there. But you don't need to doubt yourself. If you doubt yourself, then how are you going to back yourself?
So in an entrepreneurial sense, then the doubt is created by not believing in the business.
Yeah, I think so. No, I think if you don't believe in your business,
Who will?
who will believe in your business? If you don't believe in your brand, who will? You need to think you have the coolest brand in the world. You need to go, this brand, this thing's brandable, man. I'm gonna put it on to shirts, I'll do this, people will love the name. You need to believe in it as much as anyone. If you don't do that, then nobody's gonna do it for you. Listen, this nonsense of having influencers and this and this and that, it makes a bit of a difference, but they can walk away any day and then move to another brand, and then, oh, did you see this guy left?
Yeah, no. Yeah, no. I feel like we're on the verge of opening a can of worms, and I see it's 10 to 5, meaning you might have to. So let's call this part 1 of this conversation: discouragement, doubt, and dreams, and how they tie in.
Yeah, I think there's lots to be said about that, but I just want to encourage whoever listens to this or watches this or whatever, not to give up. That's the starting point.
Yeah.
If you get discouraged, that's all part of your journey.
Normal.
It's normal, 100% normal. But don't get discouraged for too long. Pick yourself up, go chat to someone, reach out to someone, get a mentor. I mean, I'm almost at a place where I want to open up a mentor, a place where I can just chat to people and go, just tell me quickly, what is the story here?
Tell me quickly.
What is the story here? So I can just nudge them in the right direction.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you just need a nudge.
Yes.
You just need okay, I'm going to try this one more time. Okay, wait, I've been looking at it at the wrong angle. I mean, sometimes that's all it is.
Yeah, and I think a lot of us in the infant stages of our businesses feel like the challenges that we're going through nobody understands, and then it becomes we get too proud or discouraged to talk about it because we don't want to come across as weak or like we don't know what we're doing. But there's the only fool is the person who doesn't ask a question. You know what I'm saying?
100%. You need to ask questions. You need to ask people who's gone through the same experience or the same. I tell my kids every now and again, they go through stuff. They are in high school, the one's still young. I tell them, I was your exact age at some point. Do you know this? On the second, I was your exact age. I had the exact emotions you had right now. I was the exact insecure position you are in right now. You can speak to me because I remember it as good as day. So there's hundreds of people out there, thousands, millions, that's gone through a entrepreneurial depression at some point. And instability and insecurity and discouragement. I mean, fuck, man, we all go through this shit. We might as well go, how did you handle this?
Yes.
What happened when this happened? What did you do?
I definitely feel a lot better after having this conversation. Not to say that I was like discouraged, but I've been dealing with some emotions, man, just like trying to make that dream real, like, the conversation. I'm on this path. I feel like I've become a doer, but I also feel like I'm not doing enough. you know, and
There's stuff that you can fine tune and see where you can improve. There's fundamentals, basics that's needed. I know I've learned. I'm still learning. In business sense, tips and stuff that people can use and make use of. But we'll happily somehow get to that at some point. You know, I really want to just encourage the people out there to not stop, and then we'll somehow find a way to answer some questions, or to just nudge people in the right. Leave your questions
in the comments. For Uncle Marnus, you know, and maybe we can create a culture of engaging. You don't have to necessarily be here with us, but let us know through the comments what your challenges are, what you're facing, what questions you might have. He'll never say he has all the answers. I know you'll never say that, but he'll
find the
try.
answers. We'll find the answers. Like I've said to Uno, I don't have all the answers. I have some, but I can find them. I know people who knows people, and I will dig for them and I will search for them until I find them. That's what I can guarantee.
And that's how committed we are to enlightening and empowering, educating, helping out young people.
100%.
Thank you so much, Big M. I appreciate you as always, man.
My pleasure.
Cool.